Let's try it again.
Okay. This is our podcast, Make Me One with Everything. That was good.
Do you want to get the guitar? Nice. Thank you. That was great. You take directions so well.
It's Tanya. It's Tanya and Jacob.
Do you want to introduce me and I'll introduce you?
This is Tanya.
And this is Jacob.
No, that's Tanya.
No. Not this is Tanya. With Tanya.
Oh, careful. Welcome to the podcast. It's called Make Me One with Everything. And
hot dogs.
It's about hot dogs. Hot dogs.
Can I ask you something about hot dogs? Because I feel like you would know this. Even though you hate hot dogs.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, but when things are pickled, like your liver, they have probiotics, right?
I've heard.
Okay, I thought you might know.
Yeah, I've heard, like sauerkraut and stuff.
Okay.
That's like probiotics.
You like that pickled liver joke? I'm just kidding.
My liver's totally healed now.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh man, it was rough for a while.
Was it?
It was like an old baseball mitt. I've never been a big drinker, contrary to my reputation.
I mean, a bottle of wine, like, to your dome, that's like what housewives do.
Yeah, so, totally.
You're just drinking on a feminine level.
Yeah, I'm totally a feminine drinker.
You're so a feminine drinker.
I'll have like half a bottle of wine. I'm like, woo, I'm done. I'm gonna go home.
Let's go dancing.
Let's take a picture. It'll be fun. This is a podcast of Buddhist humor.
Okay.
We'll be examining the issues.
There's
in
nothing
a Buddhist
funny
way.
about that.
There's nothing funny about Buddhism. Is the name of the podcast.
I mean, what's funny about like the human condition, really, and suffering?
You gotta laugh to keep from crying.
Right? That's what this podcast is about.
That's what this podcast is about. I even put that down here. There's a Camus quote.
I love him. One of my favorite dudes ever. Was he Buddhist?
No, he was existentialist.
Right.
But it's a lot of overlap. I don't know if I'm quoting it exactly. Camus said, I don't want to die. I don't want anyone I love or care about to die. But I will die. And everyone I love and care about will die. Therefore, life is absurd. What you take with that is you gotta kind of like laugh. You know, it's like if you don't laugh about it, then you're just...
Did he say you have to laugh, or did he just say, and that's absurd, end of quote?
That's what he said.
And then you're kind of...
I'm at it, I'm
like,
checking on it, and they start laughing.
And then he died of laughter.
I feel like that's kind of a Buddhist approach to the absurdity of life.
You're kind of implying that absurdity is humorous, but I think absurdity could sort of be not humorous.
Yeah, you almost have to approach it with humor to get through it. It's a mechanism to deal with those heavy things, I think.
Well, you know, laughter is innately physiological response to fear, like to calm the body. Mom plays hide and go seek with the baby, and she puts her hands over her face, and she disappears to the baby. And the baby, if you watch the face, it gets all, you know, oh, my mom just disappeared. What the fuck? And then she's like, hi, here I am. I love you. And the baby starts laughing. It's a release. So,
laughter is a release.
So, listeners, just take that to heart.
Release, let go.
No, I really like that quote. I like this topic, I have to say.
I think staying on or at least beginning with what a Buddhist humor is about. And I think that's what it is about. It's not making light of heavy subjects, but like approaching it with a lightness, with that perspective at least. Things are finite. There's a lot of horrible stuff in the world, but there's also a lot of not horrible stuff in the world, and just kind of...
like accepting that.
Yeah. And
acceptance.
kind of like radical acceptance.
Wrong.
Here's the news item.
Okay.
More than 78,000 people have applied to die on Mars. Did you hear about that?
Wow. No.
Okay. So, in, I think, Germany, there's this kind of like a reality show called, it's Mars One is the name of it. And the show is, they're going to send people to Mars on a one-way trip. You're not coming back.
Oh my god.
And you're going to colonize Mars.
Is that for real?
It's totally for real.
Is that part of the reality show?
Yes. They're paying for it as a reality show. Like, we're going to have cameras filming the whole thing. Like, the training.
Oh god, that's going to be so terrifying.
And by yeah, I know. And
these people are going to be freaking out.
I know, and it's a 6-month trip there. By 2023, they claim they're going to send people there, like, I don't know, 4 people or 6 people or something, and you're going to be like the first colonists of Mars. And 78,000 people have signed up. I read an article where they like interviewed some of the people, and when you think about that, you're giving up the world.
That's so stupid.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I know.
But to go to Mars where there's no water, there's ice under like 2,000 kilometers down, which is, I don't know, 5 miles.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
5, 6, 2,000. Okay. If anything, they should fly to an environmental center here on Earth and spend that energy and money to try to cultivate.
Well, I think it's like, hey, we're gonna be you'd be the first colonizer of many on Mars, but there's no return trip planned, and it's a 6-month trip to even like if something happened, say you made it to Mars okay, and you landed and you like set up your little colony, and I assume you'd like set up some kind of greenhouse kind of system.
Greenhouse system on Mars. It runs on dust and robots.
We've learned to eat dust.
No, the video they're going to be bringing back.
To watch people like die a slow death. Help us!
God.
Alright, let's watch that Mars show. Click! Help us! This is terrible.
Can you imagine the waiver they have to sign? It's for like 10
yeah.
pages. Like, I will eat dehydrated food for the rest of my life. Check. Worry about.
I will not hold the
sucking.
producers responsible for my horrible death on a foreign planet.
Would you
What was
ever
I going to
do
say
something
about it?
like that?
I found something like weirdly kind of horrible, but also like touching and beautiful and strange about the fact that there are people willing to give up their lives to go live on. It's so surreal. If you take away like the philosophical, like, oh, you're the first person on Mars, you're basically giving up your life to live in a hostile, ultra isolated, dangerous place for the rest of your life with no hope of any other future. You
Right.
know,
It's
like,
not one of like the cool hostels
Yeah.
in San Francisco. Like, it's not that kind of hostel. It's like serious exoplanet hostel.
it's an exoplanet hospital.
It's not like where you get to sleep with all the international people in one night.
There won't be like the Swedish people in bunk beds. and
Sorry,
stuff.
continue. That was getting really good and profound. And then I'm like, hostel? Hell yeah. I watch a movie night,
I like
spaghetti
it.
night.
Spaghetti. Yeah, that something about the story just really just kind of like I wouldn't do it because I'm vaguely not very, but I'm still even vaguely freaked out about like flying in an airplane.
Okay.
So that's a 6-month trip to Mars. So
Right. It's a little different.
here's something else that has to do with that. NASA just released this cute little YouTube video series with this guy on the International Space Station talking about how being weightless affects your 5 senses.
Oh.
And it's a little kind of dorky and kind of like it's kind of like this cute little video series, but it's interesting. Some of the ways it affects your senses is it blurs your vision because of like the weightlessness on your eyeballs.
Wow.
It fucks up your vision first of all because like your eyeballs deform.
Because there's water in your eyeballs are a very soft organ. They have a lot of water in them.
So a lot of people when they experience weightlessness, especially for a long time, and imagine 6 months, your eyes like just like whoa, so you can't see anymore.
Your eyes are gonna be coming. Oh god, the Mars reality show is getting worse. Turn the channel.
Also, your sinuses don't drain.
Oh.
So you have a constant stuffy nose, and all the blood rushes to your face, so you have like a fat face, like you're hanging upside down on the monkey bars. Stuffed up sinuses.
You're like always doing the neti pot.
Well, not only that, your taste is fucked up too because of your sinuses. So, and that's why they're really into like really spicy things in space. But here's something that's really insane that I love. When you close your eyes in space, you'll sometimes see flashes of light in your vision. You'll see like little flashes of light that can be annoying, and some people see them more than others.
They're so annoying.
It's cosmic rays.
Cosmic rays, man. That's so cool.
When we're on Earth, I guess like our atmosphere kind of filters it a little bit and we don't see it. But when you're in space, you actually are getting cosmic rays like shot into your eyeballs, and like people will see flashes like bloop, bloop, bloop in their eyes when they close their eyes.
That's mind blowing.
Yeah.
That's cosmic shit.
Yeah, that is ultra cosmic shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cosmic rays in your eyes. That sounds really like that's
So
not
if you're
good for your
meditating,
eyes.
really?
That sounds really bad for you.
He said it can be annoying for some people in space.
Especially the meditators.
So I wonder if anyone has ever meditated in
Oh,
space.
I'm sure. Because if you're sitting in a room by yourself
Yeah.
in a spaceship.
It's like the ultimate meditation retreat.
Going back to the other topic, the one before, what happens to your body, which is really cool. I was wondering how non-attachment would play into leaving the earth. I mean, clearly there's some Buddhist principle there with non-attachment, not being attached. And I wonder about that. If people who have a family are probably less likely to go. I mean, it'd be interesting to find out who are these people who are going. And there's probably some common thread there.
Definitely, I mean, almost like the Buddha leaving his wife and kids and going off to...
Leaving the palace?
This is the ultimate detachment.
Going to Mars?
You're fucking going to Mars forever. I mean, how do you explain that to your family if you have one? Like, yeah, I feel like this is important for me to do. I mean, I think it's kind of parallel to Buddha.
I think it was Thoreau or John Muir who had a wife and kids and I think it was Thoreau.
Yeah.
And he would go off and say, I gotta go. I really gotta go. I hope you understand. And she did.
Did you read that thing I sent you about Thoreau?
I don't know if I did.
This is insane. I was just reading this thing. This is gonna blow your mind.
Uh-oh. He's a child molester.
No. So apparently the reason he took off, went to the woods, apparently he accidentally started a fire that like decimated this community. It basically burned a community down to the ground.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're thinking that's why he was kind of ostracized from his community. I think he was maybe doing some like controlled burn type situation on his...
I did some controlled burns in my day as a junior pyro. Controlled Taco Bell wrappers. So Thoreau was a pyromaniac. And he spent his entire life repenting.
Making up for it, yeah, by
that's tragic.
It made it easy for him to just go off to the woods. Like, it was easy for him to kind of cut ties and do this because of that, is what it's saying. And then maybe out of guilt, he became this naturalist.
Advocate.
Yeah.
It's like that one movie.
What?
The
English Patient?
Where she, like, I don't know. I need, like, a computer for my brain.
I've read that that's the only way to reach exoplanet.
What?
Is like eventually the
robotics.
human race becoming kind of melded with electronic things. Imagine a future where like we become so integrated with electronics that we just basically become like these self-sufficient entities that can visit exoplanets and live forever and just kind of be these weird man machines.
What would that mean? I mean, that would be the end of humanity. That would be the beginning of Google-manity. Google-manity.
Google-manity. A really smart manatee.
It's a dolphin with Google eyes.
I have my own language. I'm a Google-manatee.
Why are puns only funny to really nerdy people? But they are.
They are words. Funny. This is a proto-pun. Let me tell you something about Eskimos. Would take the reindeers to these special fields where psychedelic mushrooms grew and let their reindeer eat the mushrooms, and then they'd drink the reindeer piss and like hallucinate.
Oh my god. Why did they have to filter it through the reindeers?
It's supposed to be better that way. So yeah, they drink the reindeer piss, but get this.
That's crazy.
They all go in a hut, and like the holy men, like the medicine shaman. Shamans?
That's the Oklahoma.
They drink...
Oh, damn shaman.
So they drink the reindeer piss that I don't know how they collect the reindeer piss.
I can only imagine.
So then the villagers wait outside this sweat lodge that the shamans are drinking the piss and having visions. So when the shamans come out and piss into these things, then the villagers drink their piss to get a third-hand psychedelic experience. Why they drink the reindeer piss as opposed to just eating the mushrooms is they say it cuts out the throwing up phase. Because if you just eat mushrooms...
totally.
Yeah.
Drinking piss is so much easier than just eating mushrooms. That's probably how Christmas evolved. Was these
like a reindeer piss drinking ceremony.
Thank you. It's a gift that keeps on giving, at least for like
psychedelic mushrooms.
7 to 10 hours. Do they really call them Eskimos? That's
I think
so antiquated.
Inuit is even antiquated.
What is it now?
I think they want to be called what their tribe is, like because there are a bunch of different, ones. So it's like, hey, I'm not an Inuit.
Not just Inuit. Okay, I see.
So that's I think Inuit's like a catch-all for all tribes.
We need an anthropologist on this podcast. Well, how would you describe mindfulness?
Being hyper-aware of your internal states and the external, because people kind of tend to think it's like, oh, you just kind of like dive into your belly button and like,
woo, I love it in here, it's dirty.
But it's like you're aware of sounds around you, you're aware of emotional states arising within you, you're aware of breathing, you're aware of thoughts and waves of thought, elbows.
That's right.
That's mindfulness, I think.
And what they found is that some weird study, really cool weird study, where they found that people are only aware or practicing mindfulness, just the average American, about 46% of the time. So about half of your life, you are not actually present for.
You're elsewhere.
Where'd you go? I don't know. If you're not engaging with someone, it's like you're not there. And it's so interesting how people can...
You're either formulating a response, or you're thinking about something that happened before, you're in the future, you're in the past.
Right.
But you're not in the what's happening right there.
And there's a great quote that says, where your attention is, there will your heart be also. And I really like that, because it's, wherever you're giving your attention is where you're going to be.
Yeah.
A lot of long-term relationships. I don't know how this became a relationship podcast. But I guess you're talking to like an MFT person. The attention is what goes first.
And then
the sex.
That's like the canary in the coal mine. Once your partner's not paying attention, once your partner's not mindful of you, then it's done.
Hi, Jake.
Oh, what were you saying? Mindful, huh?
Whatever. Mindfulness.
Mindfulness. The end.
You're being mindful 46% of the time. So 54% of your life you actually miss if you're not being mindful. And the average person has something like anywhere from 1 to like 12,000 thoughts a day or something. I can get the exact numbers later if we want to add it to a podcast because it's really interesting.
Like a different voice. 12,000.
And yet, all those thoughts are repeat thoughts. None of them are new thoughts.
They're just
so
like
you're basically thinking about the same shit all day fucking long. Yeah. Every single day you're having 12, anywhere from whatever it was, 4 to 11,000
And it's
thoughts.
all reruns.
And it's reruns.
It's like the worst TV station.
It's the worst. And it's playing every day. So if you can be mindful of that, you can actually start to have new insight. You know, your cerebral cortex actually grows.
Yeah. That's a definite like positive thing that I've found with mindfulness is that you become more aware of negative thought patterns.
Right.
And then you can be like, oh, that's a negative thought pattern. You're not carried away in it. You're just like, oh, that's what it is. And then you're just like, okay.
That's why it's used a lot for anger management. Or why it's so useful in anger management, because you can kind of feel like you want to hit something and you can feel it in your body first. And you're like, oh wait, I actually don't want to hit my child. I actually really love my child or my wife or whatever.
What's the word for that? The feelings in the body?
Embodiment?
No, it's like some weird word like a Tibet, like chichampa or something. No, if you can become aware of the body sensations of anger or whatever, you can feel like the anger like start here before even
maybe
like,
that's what I'm feeling right now.
You can feel that kind of start before you even like have a thought about it. You're feeling a body sensation. There's a whole practice of like being aware of those body sensations.
Tatanka.
Like, is that what that's like a buffalo. The Tatanka sensation.
Oh, there's a buffalo in my chest. It must come out. Well, the Buddha said the first foundation of mindfulness is embodiment.
Is that the first foundation?
I believe. Where's our reference?
Pop quiz, asshole. I've got some printouts.
Who's Donna? So anyway, embodiment is very important for mindfulness because if you can't be in your body, then where are you?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
You're the opposite of mindful.
You're like
mindless.
Yeah, you're absent.
Yeah, absent-minded.
Pay attention. So
this is
Jacob,
fun.
What's next?
Eskimo jokes.
That's offensive.
I was offended too. There's a Christian missionary trying to reach out to some Eskimos, like try to convert them. And the Eskimo says, if I did not know about God and sin, would I go to hell? The missionary says, no, not if you didn't know about it. You wouldn't go. The Eskimo says, then why did you tell me? Yeah. What a great joke.
Spreading their gospel.
Spreading the gospel. That's something that doesn't happen in Buddhism. Proselytizing.
That's nice.
And zealotry. We don't really go door to door. You don't see like monks going door to door.
So the Buddha didn't go door to door like Jesus. Jesus sort of. That was.
He did travel around, but it was like, hey, I'm just going to teach right here, and if you want to walk up and listen to it,
give me some rice.
Yeah, I'm going to do this thing over here, and you can just come to me. It wasn't like, hey, listen to my teachings, or you're going to hell.
It's really nice. It's not forcing the person.
Yeah, like you come to it when and if you're ready to do so. Seeking refuge in the Dharma.
Yeah.
It's interesting. He would like teach this stuff and then just be like, yeah, but don't believe me. Just see what you think.
That's nice.
Like that was another part that I think is like an anomaly.
Because usually once you get a little bit of power, a lot of times
here are the commandments.
A lot of gurus.
Yeah.
And also, religious people take advantage of that. Yep. How does health food and spirituality and cultism, how does
with the combination?
It sort of gets connected. It's almost like a spiritual, like a purity type of thing, maybe.
In spirituality, there's oftentimes like ritual, I guess, and maybe like it's kind of a ritualistic purification thing.
Right.
I mean, even in like Catholicism and like the blood and body of Christ stuff, sacraments. I don't know, like
the cracker thing.
The cracker, the Jesus cracker or something. I don't know. We're not Catholic. It's always intertwined. It's really intertwined. And it's funny, what do you think about the connection between because oftentimes like kind of new agey, crystal-y, new agey stuff gets lumped in with Buddhism. And I think Buddhism's too nice to like say that it's different. You know what I'm saying? Buddhists are too like, they don't be like, no, that's not us. They're like, oh yeah, whatever.
The New Age is influenced by Buddhism and probably other Eastern spiritualities. Buddhism is not influenced by the New Age because it's such an ancient spirituality. So they're totally different. More power to the New Age people for integrating what they can.
If they get a little good juice from the Buddhism, that's a good thing, I guess.
Good juice.
It's just funny if you tell people like you're Buddhist. Anytime, even to this very day, if I tell people I'm Buddhist, I almost like feel a twinge of like, oh, but like not like New Agey though. It's different. Because you almost like, you tell people that, they almost think you're of a crystal New Agey person.
This helps my eyesight. This helps my...
This is for my chakras.
Well, that's why I've heard it, what I like to call the B word. So Buddhism has, when you say it, a lot of people start judging stereotypes. Why don't you have a shaved head? What's up with the haircut? That's a different topic.
What's up with your haircut?
I'm just kidding. I cut it myself.
I like telling people that I am, but I always, when I tell people I am, I always like, get a sense, and maybe it's just me projecting this, I get a sense that they're kind of like, ugh.
And I like that you say I'm Buddhist, because I don't actually consider myself Buddhist.
I don't 100% either. I mean, I'm not like, I'm definitely spiritual, but I mean, I feel like it's a little pigeonhole-y to say I'm Buddhist. Like 100% like, I'm Buddhist, this is, Eightfold Path, it's like, I know the Noble Truths of it's definitely philosophically and religiously, I lean more toward that than anything else.
Yeah.
But it's easier for me if I have to pigeonhole it, if people are asking me point blank, I'm like, oh yeah, Buddhist. Pretty much, although, if I were in Burma and like talking to like a real Buddhist in that sense and told them, they would laugh and be like, oh really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's interesting. They'd be like, what are you drinking?
I do kind of want to flee America, to tell you the truth. I want to be an expat.
Better healthcare.
Longer lifespan, better quality of life, more wine, more cheese, more indigestion.
More public transportation options.
Yeah, more bike paths, more shorts.
Maybe we should like move to like Norway or like Denmark.
This really small town in Germany, northern Germany. I don't know the name anymore. They have really good transportation. Public transportation, that is. Moving on. Have you ever had any experiences where you felt connected to something greater than yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Like either through meditation or...
Mostly meditation. Okay, during meditation, definitely. Especially when I first started meditating, because I had like that sweet beginner's mind where I was like, the sweet beginner's mind. It was
so good for you.
It was really crazy. Because when you first start meditating, you have all these weird experiences. And I did. I had like weird out-of-body experiences and like all those things. And I still kind of have those occasionally when I meditate. But, feeling a part of greater stuff and, feeling detached from the body but in life when I'm not meditating, here's a weird thing. Like recently when I went to Mount Diablo, we got super stoned and I was walking and no, I didn't drink any psychedelic reindeer piss. We came to this clearing and there was this beautiful hill with these two perfectly placed trees and the sun was setting behind them and it was just like these shadows and like kind of grass blowing and it was dead quiet and just so incredibly weirdly deeply moving that all four of us who weren't really talking at the time, we were just kind of walking, all just kind of paused and stopped and just had to stand there. And I feel like
you all had a moment
like
of awe,
of total wonder and awe. I've had a few things like that, mostly under the influence of weed, or recently when Ari and I went to Fort Funston and drank a bottle of Chimay, or I drank a bottle of Chimay, and like staring out the ocean, these golden waves coming in, and just like the warm sand, and you get choked up. Words.
Give me the Chimay.
I gotta wash this down.
Gotta wash this moment of awe down.
Push my soul back into my body. Yeah, so I mean, I definitely felt a connection.
Push my soul back down.
Get in there.
Yeah, I think in Existential Psychology they Like if I was an existential psychologist, I would try to...
Is that a thing? Existential psychologist?
Yeah, the head of our department is an existentialist, and he's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, he's just really fun. And they encourage, or they're interested in moments of awe. They think that's important for life meaning.
I mean, that's kind of treating post-traumatic stress with MDMA or mushrooms, like all that research they're doing in that field. They think that's a big part of it, from what I've read, is when you do that, it kind of causes these things to, you'll have
Allows
these,
you to be more open.
yeah, and you'll have these like moments of deep
Connection.
on these things that will have lasting effects in your life post
I wonder
taking
how
it.
lasting they are, because
I've heard like 6 months to a year. Is what I read.
well, my experience, and I had a very profound spiritual experience where I felt connected to everything. And my experience was that for like the next week and a half or so, I was like way up top. Like I was on cloud 19. You know, I was like smiling at like people would be biking down Fell Street.
I'm like, yeah.
Hey! You're like smiling at them. Yeah, so I was feeling really connected, and then it kind of gradually, after that like 2-week period, kind of went away. But I'll never forget when I first had it, and I was living with Kevin. I had just had this really amazing experience, and I opened up my door, and there he was, and he's like going to the bathroom, and he's like, "How are you?" And I'm like, "Kevin, I just had the most amazing experience. I was like floating in the cosmos, and I had the earth in one hand, and I had like this moon in the other hand. I was floating out there, and I knew I was so large, like I knew the expanse of the universe. Even I mean, it's hard to explain." And he was like, "Cool." And I was crying, and I was crazy.
And it lasted about a week and a half, you said?
Yeah, that's when I knew that there was no life and there was no death. There was only continuation in another form. And then it went away, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna die."
Have you ever thought of going to India or any of that stuff?
Not India.
Why not India?
No. I guess I think more of like, I would like to go to Tibet or Burma.
Good food.
Yeah. Rice.
Burma's superstar.
And sweeping.
Sweeping.
And meditating.
Oh, yeah.
Sweeping, meditating, and eating rice.
Yeah. Breath sweeps mind.
Yeah. Nice. Hey girl, you wanna come drink some tequila in my trunk?